to something we see every single day, printing.
Oh, yeah.
We use it all the time, but have you ever really thought about how it's changed things? Well, today we're going to find out some amazing stuff about how printing has shaped everything.
Yeah.
From culture and religion to politics and even the economy.
Right.
And we're going to be using historical accounts and some really cool visuals along the way.
I think what's really interesting is that, we just kind of take printing for granted.
Yeah.
It's just sort of there.
Right.
But it's one of those things that has really, had a huge impact on human history.
Okay, so you're saying there's more to it than just, putting ink on paper.
Oh, for sure.
I'm intrigued. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
Way back to the start.
Way back. We're talking ancient Mesopotamia around 3000 BCE.
Wow.
Imagine scribes, carefully carving symbols onto clay tablets.
Clay tablets.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It took a long time.
Yeah. I can barely sign my name on those digital pads without messing up. I guess it shows you how long we've been driven to record information and share it.
Absolutely. And that drive led to some incredible innovations like woodblock printing.
Okay.
Which started in 7th century China.
Okay.
It involved carving entire pages into woodblocks, which were then used as stamps to make prints.
So giant, intricate stamps.
Pretty much.
I bet those blocks were works of art themselves.
They were.
Yeah.
And what they produced was pretty remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
The Diamond Sutra, printed in 868 CE, is thought to be the world's oldest surviving printed book.
Wow.
It really shows how sophisticated early Chinese printing techniques were.
The oldest printed book from China?
Yep.
That makes you wonder why the story of printing always seems to start with Gutenberg in Europe.
Well, it's a good point.
Yeah.
There's often a Western bias in how we tell history. But actually, a key development in printing happened in 13th century Korea.
Oh, really?
Movable metal type.
Wait, so Korea was using movable type before Gutenberg.
Yeah.
Europe wasn't the first to figure out how to mass-produce text.
Not at all. Movable type was a game changer.
Yeah.
Because it meant printers could rearrange individual characters.
Okay.
And that made printing much faster and more efficient.
That's interesting.
In fact, the Jikji, printed in Korea in 1377, is the oldest existing book printed using this technology.
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm adding visit Korean printing museums to my bucket list.
Good idea.
But of course, Gutenberg is still a huge part of the printing story.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like he just copied the Koreans, right?
Right. Gutenberg's genius was that he combined existing innovations, movable type, and the screw press to create a system that could mass produce things on a scale never seen before.
Okay, so picture Europe in the 15th century.
Right.
What happens when suddenly books aren't these luxury items, but something anyone can own? Did people's brains just explode with all this new information?
Well, it wasn't quite that dramatic.
Okay.
But the impact was huge.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to be a doctor before printed textbooks.
Oh, wow.
Knowledge was mostly kept in monasteries.
Right.
But with printing, physicians could access anatomical diagrams and herbal remedies and surgical techniques from all over the world. It completely changed medical practice.
I can see how that would be a big deal.
Yeah.
So printing leads to smarter doctors and healthier people.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Oh.
But were there any downsides to this information explosion?
That's a good question.
I mean, not everyone loves change, right?
You're right. And the religious landscape is a good example.
Okay.
Think about the Protestant Reformation.
Okay.
Martin Luther's 95 Theses. His arguments against the Catholic Church.
Right.
They spread incredibly fast thanks to the printing press.
Oh, wow.
Suddenly, religious debate wasn't just for scholars and theologians. Anyone who could read could get involved.
Whoa, so printing helped to start a religious revolution.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big ripple effect.
It is.
And I bet it didn't go over well with the people in charge.
Definitely not. The printing press empowered people to challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Whether it was in religion, politics, or any other field. It gave a voice to people who had been silenced before.
So this is more than just a technological change. This is like a social and political earthquake.
Yeah.
Did this newfound power affect the economy too?
For sure.
I mean, it couldn't have just been about ideas, could it?
Absolutely. The printing press created a whole new industry. Think about the demand for paper and ink and all the materials needed to keep those presses running,
Oh, right.
it had a ripple effect throughout the economy.
So we're talking jobs and like economic growth, all thanks to the printing press.
Yeah.
It's like the original tech boom, right?
You could say that print shops were appearing everywhere, employing printers, typesetters, bookbinders.
Wow.
It was a whole new workforce.
Hmm.
And then there's the authors and publishers and booksellers. The whole publishing industry as we know it came from this technological revolution.
It's amazing how one invention can have so many consequences.
Yeah.
It's starting to see why we're doing a whole deep dive on this.
Right.
But it also makes you think, with all this power, did printing ever get used for, like, bad things?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Any powerful tool can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
Like, think about political pamphlets and newspapers. They became really powerful tools for influencing public opinion, which could be both a good and a bad thing.
So like early versions of social media.
Exactly.
Spreading information, influencing elections, maybe even causing trouble.
Exactly. Printing gave ordinary people a voice.
Yeah.
But it also made it possible for propaganda and manipulation. It became a battleground for different ideas and beliefs.
It's fascinating how printing gave power to both everyday people and people in authority.
Yep.
It's all about who controls the message.
Yeah.
But let's jump ahead to today. Is printing even still important in our digital world?
We have ebooks and online news and social media.
Right.
It seems like everything is digital.
It's true that the digital revolution has changed how we get information.
Yeah.
But printing isn't gone at all.
Really?
Just look around.
Okay.
From the books we read to the packaging on products, printing is still a big part of our everyday lives.
Okay. But isn't traditional printing kind of fading away?
Well,
Everyone's talking about 3D printing
Yeah.
and how it's changing manufacturing.
right.
What role does the old printing press have in all this?
It's more like evolution than extinction.
Hmm.
Gutenberg's invention set the stage for everything that came after.
Okay.
Offset printing, digital printing, even 3D printing.
Right.
They all came from those early innovations.
So printing's legacy isn't just about ink on paper anymore.
No.
It's about mass communication
Yes,
and the technology that makes it possible.
exactly. And 3D printing is a perfect example of how printing technology is still evolving and changing our world.
Yeah.
We can print three-dimensional objects now. Yeah.
From medical devices to houses.
The house.
Yeah.
I knew about like prosthetics and stuff,
No.
but entire houses.
Right.
That's mind-blowing.
It is.
It seems like there's no limit to what printing can do.
It really shows how creative humans are and how we always want to innovate.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the basic reason behind printing.
Okay.
It's the desire to create, to share, to leave our mark on the world.
That's a good point.
And that hasn't changed.
From ancient scribes carving on clay tablets to
Yeah.
scientists printing human organs,
Yeah,
it's amazing to think about how far we've come.
it is.
Printing has always been there throughout history,
Yeah.
changing and adapting to our needs.
And as technology keeps advancing,
Mm,
who knows what the future of printing will be like?
that's true.
We might see things we can't even imagine right now.
I'm realizing that printing isn't just some old thing from the past.
Right.
It's a living, breathing field
Yes.
that's still shaping the world.
Exactly. And it all started with those early pioneers.
Yeah. Who thought of new ways to communicate and leave their mark on the world?
Yeah.
Their legacy is in every printed word, every image, every object we create.
So we've gone from clay tablets to the digital age and even further.
We have.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. And it makes you wonder what's next for printing.
Yeah.
How will we keep changing the world with this powerful tool?
Yeah. That is a great question.
Right.
From Gutenberg to 3D printed houses, who knows what's next?
Yeah.
I'm personally holding out for telepathic printing, you know? Just think it, and bam, it appears on paper.
Well, telepathic printing might be a while off,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't underestimate human ingenuity.
true.
Remember the experts back in the 1400s?
Right.
They never could have imagined the internet or smartphones.
That's true. And it's not all about the big futuristic stuff either.
No.
I mean, think about how printing affects us every day right now. It's still all around us.
Exactly. The books we read, the labels on our food, the designs on our clothes.
All of those are made possible by printing.
Yeah.
Even in a digital world, printing is a fundamental part of our society.
Wow. You're right.
Yeah.
It's so built into our lives that we hardly even notice it anymore.
Right.
But it just goes to show that even the most ordinary things have a fascinating history. And a backstory.
And it all started with those early innovators who were trying out new ways to leave their mark on the world.
Yeah.
It's a legacy worth celebrating.
So the next time you open a book or read a magazine or even just look at a cereal box,
Yeah?
take a second to think about the incredible journey of printing.
Hmm.
From ancient clay tablets to those super advanced 3D printers.
Right.
It's a story of creativity, innovation, and how powerful human communication can be.
And who knows what the next chapter will be.
Yeah.
The story of printing is far from over.
Well, on that note, I guess we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of printing.
We have.
Thanks for joining us on this amazing trip through history and technology.
It's been a pleasure exploring this impactful invention with you.
Until next time, keep those printing presses running.
Yes.
Whether they're digital or traditional.
Right.
And keep being curious about the world around you. You never know what you might discover.